Ladies and gentlemen, imagine waking up tomorrow in a world that looks familiar but is subtly different. Or discovering a device that lets you travel back in time. But every choice you make could fracture reality itself. Time travel and parallel worlds have long captured our imagination, from science fiction novels to cutting-edge physics theories. But today, I'm not talking about fiction. I'm talking about real stories and claims that are so bizarre, so shocking, they will leave you questioning the very fabric of reality. From mysterious travelers who claim to have visited the future, to strange accounts of people encountering alternate versions of themselves, the concept of parallel worlds isn't just theoretical. It might be happening all around us. Some of these stories are eerie, some are heartbreaking, and some are downright impossible. Yet the reports persist. We will journey through tales of people who suddenly appeared decades ahead in time. Eyewitness accounts of futuristic technology and stories of lives lived in parallel dimensions. Some have even claimed to witness events that had not yet happened, or returned with knowledge that could change the world. These accounts challenge our understanding of time, space, and reality. Are these experiences hallucinations, elaborate hoaxes, or do they hint at a hidden truth? One where the line between possible and impossible blurs completely? By the end of this journey, you may find yourself staring at the world differently, wondering what secrets our universe truly hides, and asking, could time travel and parallel worlds be more than just science fiction? Prepare yourselves, because the stories you're about to hear are not just shocking, they're mind-bending. When we hear the words time travel or parallel worlds, our minds instantly drift to images from movies, TV shows, and novels. Flux capacitors, glowing portals, or mysterious doors to other dimensions. We instinctively categorize these ideas as fantasy, something entertaining but impossible. And yet, what separates imagination from reality is not always as clear-cut as we like to believe. Scientific theories suggest that what seems like pure fiction might have a basis in reality. Consider Einstein's theory of relativity, which tells us that time is not an absolute constant. Time can stretch, bend, and even warp depending on speed and gravity. In theory, this opens up the possibility of moving forward or backward along the timeline in ways that defy our everyday experiences. Then there's quantum mechanics, which introduces the idea of multiple outcomes existing simultaneously. In the quantum world, particles can exist in more than one state at a time, and some physicists extrapolate this to suggest that entire alternate realities could exist, each with different versions of ourselves making different choices. Even outside of strict science, human experience challenges the line between reality and imagination. Throughout history, countless stories have emerged of people witnessing events that shouldn't have been possible. People claiming to glimpse the future, meet alternate selves, or encounter technology that doesn't exist yet. Skeptics may dismiss these accounts as coincidence, hallucination, or fabrication, but the sheer volume and consistency of some reports make it hard to ignore. The fascinating part is how these stories and theories converge. Imagination might be more than just a playground of the mind. It could be a window into a deeper reality. Perhaps what we think of as impossible is simply a limitation of our current understanding. After all, centuries ago, the idea of flying machines, instant global communication, or traveling to the moon would have seemed absurd. Yet today they are ordinary. Could time travel and parallel worlds be the next frontier, hidden in plain sight, waiting for science or human consciousness to catch up? Throughout history, there have been numerous accounts of individuals who seem to defy the normal flow of time. People who appear seemingly out of nowhere, claiming to have traveled either to the distant past or to the future. These are not your average stories of déjà vu or mistaken identity. These are tales filled with specific details, vivid descriptions, and, in some cases, verifiable predictions that make skeptics pause. One of the most intriguing aspects of these accounts is the consistency of the travelers' experiences. Many describe stepping into strange vehicles, encountering futuristic technology, or moving through a cityscape that looks both familiar and unrecognizable. Some speak of a future ruled by advanced machines or dramatic societal changes, while others recount personal encounters with historical figures long gone. What is striking is the level of detail in these stories. Unlike fictional tales, which often gloss over technical aspects or the sensory experience of time travel, these travelers frequently describe minute details. The feel of a different atmosphere, the taste of food that doesn't exist yet, or the texture of materials that haven't been invented. In some cases, these travelers leave behind tangible evidence, such as photographs, notes, or objects that are difficult to place in the current timeline. Consider the famous story of John Titor, a supposed time traveler from the year 2036 who appeared on internet forums in the early 2000s. Titor provided elaborate explanations about time machines, parallel realities, and predictions of events yet to unfold. While some of his predictions were vague or incorrect, other elements, like technical details about computer systems, were surprisingly accurate, sparking debates among scientists, skeptics, and enthusiasts alike. What makes these accounts so compelling is not just the claim of traveling through time, but the human element. These are ordinary people, people with families, jobs, and fears, who suddenly find themselves in extraordinary circumstances. They struggle with the paradoxes of time, the ethical dilemmas of knowing the future, and the burden of sharing knowledge that may be dismissed as impossible. The mere fact that these stories persist across cultures and decades raises profound questions. Are these individuals truly moving through time, or are they experiencing something else entirely? Visions, alternate realities, or glimpses into a universe beyond our perception? Imagine walking down the street and suddenly seeing a version of yourself, someone who looks, moves, and even gestures just like you, yet carries a different life story. Sounds impossible, right? Yet countless accounts from around the world tell of such eerie encounters, where people experience the existence of parallel versions of reality, and sometimes even cross paths with alternate selves. These stories blur the line between imagination and possibility, leaving both witnesses and researchers baffled. Parallel encounters often occur under unusual circumstances. People report seeing themselves in reflective surfaces, through windows, or even in crowded public places, but in situations that clearly couldn't belong to their own timeline. In some cases, these encounters involve subtle differences. The alternate self may wear different clothing, carry an unfamiliar object, or behave in ways the original person never would. In other cases, the differences are more dramatic, as if the individual has stepped into a world where history unfolded differently. Some witnesses even claim to have communicated with their alternate selves, exchanging brief words or gestures that carry an uncanny sense of recognition. The implications of these encounters are staggering. If parallel worlds exist, every choice we make, every decision, big or small, could spawn a new branch of reality, creating a nearly infinite web of alternative timelines. Meeting an alternate self might mean glimpsing a life that could have been, or even learning lessons from a universe where circumstances took a different path. In some reports, people describe a sense of déjà vu so intense it feels like they are remembering the life of their alternate self, suggesting a mysterious connection that transcends time and space. Some researchers theorize that parallel encounters may be linked to quantum mechanics, where particles and potentially entire realities exist in multiple states at once. In this framework, what seems like an impossible meeting could actually be a momentary overlap between universes, a glitch in the fabric of reality that allows two versions of the same individual to coexist briefly in the same space. Others suggest that these experiences might be psychic phenomena, dreams, or hallucinations, but the sheer number of consistent, detailed reports across cultures and decades challenges conventional explanations. Whether these encounters are real or a trick of perception, they leave an undeniable impact on those who experience them. People describe a profound sense of awe, fear, or even existential questioning, as if the universe itself has whispered that reality is far more complex than we imagine. In parallel encounters, the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and the boundaries of self, choice, and destiny dissolve in ways that are as fascinating as they are unsettling. One of the most astonishing aspects of time travel and parallel worlds is the recurring theme of unexplained technology. Machines, devices, and gadgets that appear far ahead of their time, defying our understanding of science and engineering. Across decades, countless witnesses have reported encounters with objects that seem impossible. Devices that manipulate energy, transport matter, or even alter perception itself. These stories challenge our assumptions about progress, invention, and the very laws of physics. In some accounts, these devices appear suddenly, often in mysterious circumstances. A person might stumble upon a strange, humming machine hidden in a basement or desert, only to find it capable of producing effects that no current technology could replicate. Others describe seeing vehicles in the sky or on the ground, constructed with materials that are unidentifiable and seemingly impervious to conventional physics. Witnesses frequently emphasize that these machines are not just visually strange. They operate according to rules that are completely alien, sometimes appearing to bend time or space around them. What makes these reports even more compelling is the level of technical detail offered by the witnesses. Many describe intricate panels of buttons, levers, and readouts, or mechanisms that respond intuitively to thought or gesture. Some claim to have seen energy sources that do not rely on fuel as we know it, hinting at principles of physics that humanity has not yet discovered. In rare cases, individuals who interacted with these machines report experiencing temporal anomalies, time slowing down, jumping forward, or even experiencing multiple timelines simultaneously. These experiences are often described with the precision of an engineer, suggesting that the witnesses are recalling something tangible, rather than fabricating a story. There are even famous cases documented in the media and online, like mysterious photographs of unusual aircraft or accounts of ghost planes that appear decades before officially recognized designs emerge. Some researchers suggest that these could be glimpses of future technology bleeding through the fabric of time, or perhaps devices originating from parallel realities where human innovation took a different path. Others speculate that these objects are not fully part of our universe, but rather visitors from alternate dimensions, temporarily manifesting in ways we can observe but cannot fully understand. Ultimately, unexplained technology is more than just curiosity. It is a tantalizing clue that our universe may be far stranger than textbooks and laboratories suggest. Every report, photograph, and witness account forces us to confront a fundamental question. If such devices exist, who built them? And how do they operate beyond the limits of what we know? For those who encounter them, reality shifts from something predictable to something profoundly uncertain, and the line between science fiction and possible truth begins to blur. Time displacement is one of the most mysterious and unsettling phenomena in the realm of time travel. Cases where individuals vanish from one moment in time only to reappear years, decades, or even centuries later, often without having aged or having any memory of the intervening period. These accounts are as eerie as they are baffling, blurring the boundary between reality and impossibility, and forcing us to question the very nature of time itself. Many of these cases begin like ordinary stories. A person walks into a forest, a subway station, or even their own home, and suddenly disappears. Witnesses may describe strange lights, unusual sounds, or a sense of a tear. In reality, at the moment, the person vanishes. For families and friends, the disappearance is devastating. But the true shock often comes when the individual reappears, sometimes in a completely different era, with little to no explanation of what happened in the interim. One particularly chilling pattern in these cases is the consistent disconnection from normal time. People report that while they were missing, everything around them moved forward, yet they experienced time differently, or not at all. Some describe seeing future events unfold, while others claim to have witnessed past moments firsthand. In certain cases, the reappearing individual carries knowledge or object from the time they traveled to or from, which cannot be easily explained by any conventional means. These stories are not confined to folklore. They appear in modern news reports, historical records, and even police files. For example, there are accounts of hikers who vanish for days, only to reappear in distant locations with no memory of how they got there. There are also more extreme cases where people reportedly vanish for decades, re-emerging in a world that has moved on without them, facing a reality where everyone they knew has aged or passed away, while they remain unchanged. Time displacement raises profound questions. Is time linear, as we have always assumed, or could it be fluid, with pockets of reality where people can slip forward or backward? Could these disappearances be accidental glimpses into parallel worlds, or are they evidence of hidden mechanisms of the universe that allow humans to traverse time unconsciously? Some physicists suggest phenomena like wormholes or temporal loops could explain these anomalies, but the evidence remains anecdotal, leaving more questions than answers. Beyond the science, the human impact of time displacement is staggering. People who return often struggle to reintegrate into society, grappling with alien customs, unfamiliar technology, and the emotional weight of lost decades. For those who experience it, the encounter is transformative, sometimes terrifying, sometimes enlightening, and it permanently alters their perception of reality, destiny, and the fragile, elusive nature of time itself. One of the most fascinating and unnerving aspects of time travel and parallel worlds is the phenomenon of prophetic knowledge. Instances where individuals claim to possess knowledge of future events that they could not have obtained through ordinary means. These accounts are particularly chilling because they suggest that glimpses of the future may not only be possible, but that the knowledge gained can have real consequences for the present. Many reports of prophetic knowledge come from people who describe brief but vivid experiences in the future. They recall details of political upheavals, natural disasters, technological breakthroughs, and even personal tragedies, often with astonishing specificity. Some are able to provide precise dates, names, or sequences of events that later prove to match reality, while others share warnings that, if ignored, seem to come true in unexpected ways. The eerie accuracy of some of these accounts has led scholars, researchers, and skeptics alike to pause and consider. How could someone possibly know what has not yet happened? What makes prophetic knowledge so compelling is not just the accuracy of the predictions, but the psychological and emotional burden that often accompanies them. People who claim to have seen the future frequently report feelings of anxiety, fear, or responsibility, as if carrying the weight of knowledge that could alter the course of events. In some cases, individuals attempt to prevent disasters or change outcomes, only to find that time resists their interference, raising profound questions about fate, free will, and the possibility of immutable events. Historical accounts of prophetic knowledge also abound. There are records of seers, mystics, and time travelers throughout history who claim to have foreseen wars, inventions, or societal shifts decades or centuries in advance. Some were dismissed as charlatans or visionaries, while others gained notoriety for predictions that astonishingly came true. Modern examples often involve more technologically minded individuals, people who describe futuristic machines, scientific breakthroughs, or events that later align with real-world developments, suggesting a connection between human observation, consciousness, and the unfolding of time. The existence of prophetic knowledge challenges our understanding of causality. If the future can influence the present, then time may not be a straight line, but a network of possibilities, constantly interacting and reshaping itself. Perhaps these glimpses of the future are not mistakes or hallucinations, but windows into alternate realities, moments where parallel worlds bleed into our own, offering a preview of paths that might or might not come pass. For those who experience prophetic knowledge firsthand, the effect is profound. It changes how they view life, decision-making, and the passage of time. It introduces a sense of interconnectedness between past, present, and future, and forces them to confront the tantalizing and terrifying possibility that our reality is only one thread in an infinite tapestry of time. The allure of time travel and parallel worlds has fascinated not only storytellers and dreamers, but also some of the greatest scientific minds in history. Beneath the shock and mystery of anecdotal accounts lies a deep, methodical curiosity, a desire to understand whether these phenomena could exist within the laws of physics, and if so, how humanity might one day explore them. This scientific curiosity bridges imagination and reality, challenging the limits of what we think is possible. Physicists have long speculated that the universe may be far stranger than we perceive. Albert Einstein's theories of relativity, for example, revealed that time is not absolute, but flexible, capable of stretching and compressing depending on speed and gravity. This means that under extreme conditions, such as near a black hole or at near light speeds, time could behave in ways that appear fantastical to us. While we may never casually hop into a time machine like in the movies, the mathematics suggests that moving through time in unconventional ways is theoretically plausible. Then there is the world of quantum mechanics, which introduces concepts that seem almost impossible to reconcile with everyday experience. Particles can exist in multiple states at once, communicate instantaneously over vast distances, and even affect one another in ways that defy classical logic. Some physicists propose that this hints at the existence of parallel universes, realities that branch off from ours with every decision, where every possible outcome of every choice is played out somewhere. If true, then encounters with alternate selves, prophetic knowledge, and glimpses of advanced technology could be glimpses into these parallel dimensions. Beyond theoretical physics, scientific curiosity drives practical experiments. Researchers study anomalies in time perception, explore the possibility of wormholes as bridges through space-time, and simulate parallel universes through computer models. Even fields like neuroscience, psychology, and consciousness studies are contributing insights, investigating whether human perception itself might allow access to realities beyond our ordinary experience. Some theories suggest that our minds might function as sensitive instruments, capable of detecting or interacting with temporal or dimensional phenomena that remain invisible to our usual senses. What makes this scientific curiosity so compelling is its humility and rigor. While stories of mysterious travelers and unexplained technology can seem sensational, scientists approach these questions with precision, asking how, why, and under what conditions such phenomena could occur. They seek patterns, test hypotheses, and explore the limits of natural law, all while remaining open to the extraordinary. In doing so, they acknowledge a profound truth. The universe may be far more intricate, strange, and interconnected than we have ever imagined. The intersection of human curiosity and the mysteries of time and parallel worlds invites us to wonder. What if the impossible is simply a frontier we haven't fully explored yet? What if the shocking stories that leave us speechless are not just anomalies, but clues pointing toward a reality far richer and stranger than we can currently comprehend? One of the most unsettling aspects of time travel and parallel worlds is the recurring pattern of eerie coincidences, moments when events, people, or objects align in ways that seem far too precise to be random. These coincidences often suggest hidden connections, unexplained overlaps, or glimpses into realities running parallel to our own. When viewed in isolation, a single oddity might be dismissed as chance, but when multiple anomalies converge, they create a sense of deliberate, almost sentient orchestration of reality. Consider, for example, cases where someone dreams in extraordinary detail about an event, only for it to happen later exactly as imagined. Some of these premonitions are subtle, a specific phrase overheard, a chance encounter on a street, or the sudden appearance of a person or object thought long lost. Others are far more dramatic, such as individuals experiencing a déjà vu so intense it feels like they are reliving an entire day from an alternate timeline, or witnesses observing future technology before it officially exists. In these moments, the boundaries between past, present, and future feel disturbingly thin. Eerie coincidences also appear in historical records. There are documented instances of inventions or discoveries being conceived independently by multiple people at nearly the same time, seemingly without communication. Some scholars speculate this could indicate a kind of time resonance, where certain ideas or events are destined to occur, as if the universe itself nudges reality along predetermined paths. When these events intersect with stories of mysterious travelers or parallel worlds, the coincidences take on a new, mind-bending dimension, suggesting that perhaps multiple timelines are interacting, overlapping, or even communicating with one another in ways that are imperceptible to most of us. The human mind is naturally attuned to patterns, which makes these coincidences all the more compelling. People who experience them often report a profound sense of awe or unease, feeling as though they have glimpsed something larger than themselves. In some cases, these moments inspire life-altering decisions, prompting individuals to pursue certain paths, avoid danger, or explore phenomena that would otherwise remain unnoticed. In other instances, coincidences seem almost sinister, as if the universe is teasing them with glimpses of outcomes that may or may not come to pass. From a scientific perspective, some explain these coincidences as statistical anomalies or psychological projections. Yet even skeptics acknowledge that the sheer volume and specificity of certain reports is difficult to ignore. Whether these moments are glimpses into parallel realities, ripples across time, or signs of forces we do not yet understand, they leave one undeniable impression. The universe is far stranger, more interconnected, and more mysterious than we like to believe. The phenomenon of time travel and parallel worlds doesn't just fascinate scientists or thrill seekers. It profoundly affects the human psyche and culture at large. Encounters with the impossible, whether through mysterious travelers, prophetic knowledge, or eerie coincidences, have a lasting psychological impact on those who experience them, challenging the very way we understand reality, identity, and destiny. On an individual level, people who claim to have experienced time anomalies or glimpses into parallel worlds often report intense cognitive and emotional effects. The realization that reality may be far more flexible than previously believed can lead to awe, inspiration, or curiosity, but it can also provoke fear, anxiety, and existential dread. How do you reconcile the idea that there may be multiple versions of yourself, each making different choices in alternate realities? How do you cope with knowledge of events that haven't happened yet, or perhaps will never happen? These experiences can fundamentally reshape one's sense of self, forcing a reconsideration of free will, personal responsibility, and the meaning of time itself. Culturally, stories of time travel and parallel worlds have left a deep imprint on art, literature, and collective imagination. From the earliest myths of journeys to other realms, to modern films and novels exploring alternate histories and futures, societies have long been captivated by the idea that our reality is only one of many. These narratives do more than entertain. They serve as mirrors, allowing people to explore moral dilemmas, societal choices, and personal regrets in a safe, imaginative space. Parallel worlds provide a framework to examine what-if scenarios on a grand scale, encouraging reflection on how small decisions can ripple across time and impact countless lives. There's also a psychological explanation for why these stories endure. Humans are pattern-seeking creatures. We are drawn to anomalies and coincidences because they challenge our assumptions and force us to question the limits of knowledge. Time travel and parallel worlds offer a canvas for projecting hopes, fears, and curiosity, creating shared experiences that resonate across cultures. Legends of travelers, mysterious technology, and prophetic knowledge have persisted for centuries because they speak to a universal human fascination with the unknown, a fascination that transcends borders, eras, and belief systems. The impact is not only reflective but also aspirational. Tales of time travel inspire scientists, engineers, and thinkers to push the boundaries of what is possible, while cultural narratives allow society to grapple with ethical questions about altering timelines or interacting with alternate realities. They provoke discussions about morality, destiny, and the consequences of knowledge, revealing that these stories are not merely entertaining. They are deeply intertwined with the way humans understand themselves and their place in the universe. In essence, the psychological and cultural impact of these phenomena reminds us that our perception of reality is fragile, complex, and malleable. Experiencing or even contemplating time travel and parallel worlds challenges the mind to stretch beyond conventional boundaries, fostering a mixture of wonder, caution, and relentless curiosity about the true nature of existence. Perhaps the most compelling and haunting aspect of time travel and parallel worlds is how many unanswered questions remain. For every story of mysterious travelers, prophetic knowledge, or eerie coincidences, there is a lingering uncertainty. How is it possible? Why does it happen? And most importantly, what does it mean for our understanding of reality? These unanswered questions are what keep the phenomenon alive, perpetually fascinating scientists, philosophers, and curious minds alike. At the heart of the mystery is the nature of time itself. Is time a linear, unbreakable thread, or is it flexible, branching, and multidimensional? When people disappear and reappear decades later, or when parallel selves seem to communicate across realities, the simple concept of before and after becomes almost meaningless. The mechanics of time travel, if it exists, remain elusive. How could someone move forward or backward without violating causality? Could traveling to the past actually alter the present, or are events fixed in ways we cannot perceive? The very act of questioning these possibilities opens doors to realities we have barely begun to understand. Parallel worlds add another layer of enigma. If countless alternate realities exist, how do they interact with our own? Are there versions of ourselves living entirely different lives? And can we ever perceive them consciously? Some scientists speculate that these universes might be constantly overlapping, intersecting at rare points to produce coincidences, prophetic knowledge, or glimpses of technology not yet invented. Yet the evidence remains anecdotal at best, leaving the rest to imagination, interpretation, or theoretical physics. Even the human mind presents unanswered questions. Could consciousness itself be a key to experiencing these anomalies? Some researchers suggest that human perception might act as a bridge between dimensions, that certain individuals are more tuned in to temporal or parallel phenomena. But if so, why does it affect some and not others? Why do only some experiences leave tangible evidence, while others exist purely as fleeting memories, dreams, or feelings of déjà vu? And finally, there is the question of consequences. If time travel or parallel worlds are real, what ethical and existential responsibilities would come with such knowledge? Could altering the past, or glimpsing the future, endanger reality itself? What does it mean for free will if multiple outcomes are unfolding simultaneously in different realities? These questions remain unanswered, and perhaps they always will. They occupy the liminal space between science and philosophy, fact and imagination, reality and dream. It is in this space of uncertainty that the fascination endures. The unanswered questions of time travel and parallel worlds do more than baffle. They inspire, provoke, and challenge us to look beyond the visible, to consider that the universe might be far stranger, larger, and more intricate than our minds can fully grasp. In the shadows of these mysteries, every story, every coincidence, and every glimpse of the impossible becomes not just a curiosity, but a window into the unknown, a reminder that some of the most profound truths may exist just beyond our reach. As we step back from these stories, theories, and mysterious accounts, one thing becomes clear. The universe is far stranger and more complex than our daily lives suggest. Time may not be a straight line. Reality may not be singular, and the choices we make, the events we witness, and the paths we take could be part of a much larger, unseen tapestry, one that spans countless dimensions and endless possibilities. Whether these accounts are glimpses of parallel worlds, echoes of time yet to come, or simply mysteries our minds have yet to understand, they share one undeniable power. They ignite curiosity, awe, and wonder. They remind us that the boundaries of reality are not fixed. They are waiting to be explored, questioned, and imagined. So, the next time you notice something that feels impossible or a coincidence that leaves you breathless, remember this. The universe may be whispering its secrets to those who dare to look closer, to those willing to believe that reality is far more extraordinary than we have ever imagined. And perhaps, somewhere in another time, another world, the story continues, waiting for us to discover it.